It's the Florida Gambling Boys on YouTube. It is the Football Frenzy show as usual. I am the magnificent one, Sean Mayall, joined to my right, as always, by the man they call Super, Dave Price. Dave, good evening. Welcome to the show.
He does exist. Well, I'm glad to be back. Here we go.
Pardon me, I'm under the weather, but I'm still here plowing through to bring you guys content tonight. Only 2 games to talk about today, although we will recap last week's conference football. Maybe even touch on the national championship.
If you want to call it that.
From a gambling standpoint, it was quite intriguing, but nonetheless. So, first off, my boy John in Mayfair. What's love, John? You know, I know you're watching. Another shout out to my girl Susan, who is recovering and at home, so much love for tuning in, Susan, as well. And like everybody else, thank you for tuning in. Make sure you smash that subscribe button, hit the like button, the bell for notifications. We're here to bring you the info that makes you money. You followed us all year long. Am I wrong, Dave? You made some money.
I stand by what I said show 1 to show now, and that is listen to what I have to say, but odds are you're going to make more money going the other way. What can I say?
I had my best year in college football in about 10 years. I went 51 and 22 against the number. I mean, that's pretty good. Pros, not as good. Still above 500, right around 58%. But that's all right. We're not getting there. Let's talk what happened last week to lead to this. And I hate to rub salt in the wound, Dave, but I want you to take on what happened with Lions-Redskins. A tremendous upset as far as the gambling world at 9.5, and the money line was this game defensively.
I pounded the rock to take the over, and they almost had the over at halftime.
I know.
So
you did. You were on the over.
Now, as a homer, yes, I screwed the pooch on that one, but Jaden Daniels has shown me he is Cinderella at the ball. Just who's going to give him that glass slipper? Jaden Daniels, that Washington team, whatever they did, whatever excuses we can make for Detroit, the injuries aside, I think the biggest thing was the bye week.
The rest versus rust. That's always the question.
Had Detroit lost to Minnesota, had to play, they might still be running strong, but is what it is. We'll talk about them next year. It hurts, but I've gotten past it, like Dan Campbell said.
So I don't want to harp too long, but let me ask you a question. Last year they get to the NFC Championship against San Francisco. This year they get the number 1 seed, they get home field advantage, and they're bounced in the division round. Is the window at all closing on this Detroit team?
No, not at all. We're losing all of our coaching staff.
Aaron Glenn, your defensive line coach, Johnson goes to the Bears.
But you know what's still there? That entire roster. The biggest names we're going to lose are Zeitler, a 35-year-old guard,
I know.
who we had on a.
But he's good, but he's
on
old.
But yeah, a 1-year contract. He might come back. He might just retire. He's a 35-year-old guard. Tim Patrick might be leaving.
Yeah, I like him as a backup.
I love him as a backup. He might get some money. He might choose to stay. Carlton Davis, we're going to lose. But we got Rakestraw, Amik Robertson.
Carlton Davis, I think he's a friggin' bum, but that's all right.
You think he's a bum from what he did in Tampa and blah, blah, blah. But in the 13 games he played, he was a top-tier corner. And if we don't have to pay him $15 million, if he wants to stick around, great. But otherwise, we have Terrion Arnold, Amik Robertson,
I think it might
Rick
be a
Straw.
situation you saw what happened. Remember when GJ went to the Lions?
Oh, Gardner Johnson?
Yeah. And then they took a pay cut, this and then both ship it back out to Philly.
But offensively, skill-wise, as much as we have under contract, we also got Zadarius Smith, and Hutch is coming back.
Well, that's a huge.
We got Amik Robinson coming back. Aleem McNeil coming back. We have all those guys coming back, they're under contract.
St. Brown still has 1 more year in his deal.
No, they re-signed him. He has 3 years left on his deal.
Oh, was it
Jared Goff.
I thought it was a 3.
Jared Goff has 3 years on his deal.
And a lot of money.
Got a lot of money.
Goff to restructure to kind of free up some money in free agency.
We already restructured it. You missed the point. In week 3, they restructured his contract. Goff, Gibbs, Monty, Amon-Ra, Jameson Williams, Sam Laporta. They're either under rookie contracts or at least 2 years away from having to pay.
So I gotta ask you this: what the hell was the offensive staff thinking when they called that pass from Jameson Williams in that game? I thought that was the seal of the fate. It was done from there. I just thought it was a dumb call. This is the worst opportune time. I know you're reaching in your bag of tricks. You're down.
I do not question Dan Campbell and what he did for that. I don't question Dan Campbell even in this loss for this because he came out and absolutely owned it. Everybody, the entire team.
Because let me tell you, there's like 6 other teams out there waiting to fucking scoop him up in a heartbeat.
Nope. You're not firing anybody.
No.
We're just weather the storm, stay on the ship. Let's go.
The other game was Eagles-Rams. Surprisingly close. The Rams played them to the nuts. I mean, you're talking with a minute left. Rams are at the 12-yard line. Maybe it was the 19. They're inside the 20, and they're driving for the winning score, or at least tying. And knowing McVay, he would have gone for 2.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda. The Rams played their heart out for everybody in California. Played their heart out for everybody.
Yeah, for a dome team, come to the East Coast with the travel and the weather, I thought they put on a great performance.
Yeah.
I had no complaints for the Rams. None whatsoever. Last week, I was teaser heavy last week, and I went round robin with Eagles, Chiefs, Lions, Ohio State. I stayed away from Buffalo. So I get 3 out, so I pushed on those. I did hit my Kelsey prop bet. Catches over.
Kelsey was huge.
Yeah, he was 5.5 catches, and he was over like 51.5 yards. He goes for 7 and 117.
Yeah.
That's a monster day. But nobody else on the team caught over like 41 yards.
Actually, only one receiver had a reception.
I mean, I think total 100. They only had like 220 yards of offense in that game.
Yeah, we'll get into that.
And maybe that says what Houston is lacking. I mean, obviously with Diggs out for the year and Tankel's out for the year, you still had Mixon and you had Nico Collins. And other than that, maybe Dalton Schultz, but you don't have any weapons. And Chiefs defense is legit under Spagnuolo.
It is. I hate to say it. I hate looking at the calls, and I absolutely hated the safety. Absolutely hated the safety to put it at 9. That put it at 9, where the line was at 9. Pardon my American language. What in the absolute fuck are you doing running it out of the end zone to put it at 9?
I don't know. I didn't get that, but whatever. That's his offensive mastermind. The other game, Buffalo-Baltimore, I thought was really entertaining.
Andrews caught that to go to overtime. Who knows what we're talking about today?
Excuse me. I'm not blaming it all on Mark Andrews.
No. I'm not blaming it on anybody.
Should he have caught it? Probably. Was it a well-thrown ball? No. It was down and outside where only Andrews could catch it or nobody could get to it.
Or shit happens.
And shit happens. So I'm not blaming Mark Andrews because I'd take him on my team any day of the week. And maybe Baltimore cuts him because of Lively. But I think the Andrews-Lively combination is deadly. I mean, it negates what you need on the outside.
Can.
Yeah, you got Zay Flowers, but he can't stay healthy. So, and I think with Henry, I don't think their window's closed, but I think, look, is the pressure on Lamar Jackson even more next year? Absolutely.
The window is more closed than the Lions.
I think the pressure is more on John Harbaugh and even more on Lamar. is guess what? Of every active quarterback in the NFL, nobody has more career playoff losses than Lamar. It's amazing. You can win all the MVPs you want, son, but if you don't produce in the playoffs, they're just dust collectors on your mantle. As far as I'm concerned.
I will say I do love that Washington making it to the championship game, that Dallas has not made an NFC championship game since 95. And every other team in the NFC since 95 has played in an NFC championship game.
Great.
And I think it's hilarious.
Having said that, at the beginning of the year, if I had said, David, NFC Championship is going to be 2 NFC East teams. What is everybody saying? Philadelphia and Dallas. Dallas is back. They get a shot to go. And who would have saw the colossal meltdown that Dallas had? I know Dak got hurt.
Yeah.
I don't want to waste any time on Dallas. I can't stand it.
But I will say,
What is that?
somebody with two
This guy
thumbs
was big on Washington.
called Washington as a wild card team. I didn't expect them to NFC Championship. Just Washington's going to be a story moving forward.
I'll go on record. I'll give the man his props. It's this guy right here. Go a little NWO. He was the man. He actually, not only that, I think you were on the Chargers as well to make the playoffs.
Also, yes.
Which I did dead set against. Washington, I think the other one you thought Atlanta. That's okay. 2 out of 3.
Yeah, I thought Atlanta.
Said 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Whatever. You want to go early? Let's go early.
Let's go to the NFC Championship this week. Washington at Philadelphia. Line right now sits at Eagles -6 and 48.5. We finally started to see one book in Vegas as I looked at the live odds this afternoon around 4 o'clock. I saw one book posting a 6.5, but everybody else was at 6. Having said that, at 6 and 48.5, Dave, which way are you going?
I got a lot of ways to go with this one.
Bring it. You always bring the knowledge, my friend.
Let's see here. Regular season, the Commanders are 28.5 points per game. The Eagles are 27.2 points per game. The Eagles are pushing 179.3 rushing yards per game in the regular season. And Saquon's only gotten better and stayed healthy through the playoffs. The Eagles' way to the Super Bowl is through Saquon Barkley because Jalen Hurts just can't seem to find a receiver.
And he's not healthy.
He's not healthy, but
to the Jalen Hurts injury, and does it affect this? Are you worried about Kenny Pickett having to play, or does Jalen make it through the game, or it's just a game manager type situation?
but that Philly defense has been opportunistic as well. So I'm not putting any slight. I don't think the weather is going to be a huge factor. It'll be cold.
It's just cold.
It's not going to be.
Both teams aren't used to.
Yeah, neither team. Well, Jaden Daniels coming from LSU.
Yeah, I get that.
A
But
little
he's been
blah,
playing,
blah, blah.
in November, December,
But
January football.
Jaden Daniels has been that Iceman. He's been that Iceman. 3,568 yards passing in the regular season.
Monster rookie year.
891 rushing yards. 6 touchdowns. Postseason, he's had 0 turnovers in the postseason. Jaden Daniels, they looked at him on the sideline against the Lions last week and they were like, this man, ice in his veins, stone cold killers, Cinderella. He is the belle of the ball right now.
Absolutely.
He can be the very first quarterback in NFL history to start a Super Bowl as a rookie.
And go to it, yes. So, having said that, give me a blood.
I'm going Commanders. I'm going to take the Commanders outright, shock the world in Philly.
So you're on Commanders money line and +7?
And +7.
Okay.
And I'm going to take the over.
All right, having said that, I'm going to agree with a couple things. I'll disagree. I think the running game here is massive. If you look at the first 2 matchups of the year, the Eagles, when they won at home against Washington, I believe it was a Monday night game,
Yep.
I could be wrong, but Eagles win.
Monday or Sunday.
They run for 228 yards.
They did.
The game they lost against Washington on the road, the Eagles had almost a 13-point lead here with like 4 minutes left. Now, no Hurts. It was Kenny Pickett. But they still run for 211 yards, and it took a massive comeback. And Daniels throws a touchdown with 4 seconds left, and they win. Okay. Congratulations on the comeback, but they still can't stop the run. And I expect a heavy dose. Excuse me, guys. I'm sick. I apologize. I expect a heavy dose of the run. I expect Saquon to have somewhere between 27 and 32 carries. I don't expect Hurts to run the ball much. I think he's going to be a game manager. If I'm going to look at anything in this game, I'm probably looking at A.J. Brown under in catches, which is 4.5.
Hurts can't find him. I'll agree with that.
And the other one I would look at, if he's going to be a game manager from the pocket, I'm looking at Dallas Goedert over in catches at 4.5. Probably 2 prop plays I'll be on. I don't like the Saquon yardage play. It's too high right now. And here at the same time, Washington, as good as they get. If you watched them last week against Washington, or against Detroit, they were, 5 of 6 on 4th down? That was insane. They lead the league in 4th down conversions this year. So if you have to start going for it on 4th and 2, 4th and 1 against Jalen Carter and that nasty Philadelphia front 7,
They got a front 7, but despite everything, and I
know that Kobe Dean's out. They're sick to call over the middle linebacker. That hurts.
But Brandon Graham's coming back. Brandon Graham's coming back.
What does he have to offer after being out for like 8 weeks? I know he's an emotional
and
leader.
hurt.
Even if he goes out and plays 10 15
John Gallagher, I see you here. On the limb.
On here.
Yeah. Washington beats Philly. Mic drop. Betting Public says the same. Washington, that's what scares him.
Wow.
Listen, I've said it since show 1. I'm not the brightest man. I'm not the smartest man. And if you want to make money, you might want to listen to somebody else. But I got a reason. And that's Jaden Daniels. Glass slipper. It's time. It's time. If you want to cradle the foot, see if it fits. Jaden Daniels showed it to me last week. Maybe he'll show it to you this week. And Philly with Nick Sirianni screaming at fans to start the season. And Jalen Hurts, can he find a receiver? Can Saquon shoulder it on his own?
Look, if the Eagles played this offense they're playing now in the first 4 weeks, including when they came here to Tampa and got their ass kicked, Saquon's way over the record.
Oh, obviously.
They were throwing the ball over the field and this and that, so whatever. Here's an interesting thing. You talk about Daniels and the glass slipper. And John, I know how you feel. I know you hate the Eagles. You live in Philly. But think about this. 5 quarterbacks, rookies, have led their team to their championship game. Going back to 99 with Sean King here in Tampa playing the Rams. Then you had Roethlisberger. Then you had Joe Flacco. Then you had Mark Sanchez. And finally, a couple of years ago, was Brock Purdy. All 5 quarterbacks, all 0-5 straight up, all 0-5 against the number. I don't see any way this game is any different. I think that Washington's a great story, but the Cinderella story ends here. Give me the Eagles minus the 6. Give me the Eagles money line, and give me the Eagles wheeled in a teaser minus, or I'll take them even. And we're going to put it with the next game. So let's talk Chiefs Bills. Right now, at last look, this line's gone from 2 to 1.5. Kansas City minus 1.5, and I think we said 47.5, didn't you?
I think 48.5 is what I saw earlier. I would have to double check the book, but I believe 48.5.
Go ahead, I'll filibuster and check that. I think it's 47. I thought you said 47.5. Either way, interesting game. It's in Kansas City. Look, both teams playing the cold. Take the weather out of it. I mean, the weather will always play a factor, but it's not like one's a dome team or plays in the heat of Tampa or the West Coast. And I don't want to hear any like fire jokes because of that. it's quite an interesting game. These guys have matched up. Buffalo already beat them this year. Mahomes, he does nothing but win, win, win. We know that. Is this Josh Allen's time? Does he finally get Buffalo over the hump? I have a lot of concerns on both sides here. I have concerns about Buffalo's middle linebacker, their linebacker core in general. I don't think their secondary is the best, but the Chiefs have gone such conservative offense. Last week Kelsey caught 7 for 117. I think they had another receiver catch like 20 yards. They had like 221 yards of total offense. What happened to this wide open offense? Why did Reed decide? Look, they have talent.
Spags happened to this wide open offense.
Well, look, Worthy's a runner. He's a speedster.
He's also smaller than Tyreek Hill and not as proven as Tyreek Hill.
I don't know. He's pretty damn good. For his rookie year.
No, he's pretty damn good, but he hasn't had 3 years and doesn't know how to adjust. I'm not putting it on Worthy versus Hill, but
I think you have to get him involved.
Oh, $1,000,000,000. If you want to play this game, this week.
And they have to run the ball better, whether it's Pacheco, whoever runs the football. They have to do a better job.
I can tell you who's going to run the ball better.
Go ahead.
If we want to go down the rabbit hole, the Buffalo Bills circle the wagons.
Oh, sorry, Chris Berman. Here we go.
Yeah. They're second in scoring offense. Their seventh third down conversion rate. Seventh third down conversion rate. Second fourth down conversion rate.
I'm not lying. I know these are all the truth. Numbers don't lie.
Josh Allen and James Cook have combined for 28 plus rushing touchdowns in the regular season.
I think Allen's MVP. But that's it. We'll talk about that.
I think Jackson might get it, but Allen, because he beat Jackson, we'll talk about that next week.
Yeah.
In a couple weeks.
I think it should be Barkley, but my vote would go to Josh Allen.
Now, the Bills have the fourth highest rush rate. They're top 10 in opponents' yards, defensively. Kansas City's defense has allowed 18.1 points per game, third best in the NFL.
Absolutely.
Top 10 in opponents' yards per rush and rushing yards per game. The Bills are seventh overall, fourth highest in rush rate, and best in the red zone on defense. In terms of rushing,
to have a monster game, controlling the middle of the field, like that Carter for the Eagles. And, I don't know if they have the linebacker strength or the cover corners to match up, but can I tell you a bet that I love this week? The prop on Josh Allen for rushing yards is at 40.5.
Take the over all.
The Chiefs play nothing but man-to-man defense. They will incorporate some blitzing under Zach Spagnuolo, but they do it under man coverage. That means if you can pick up or even get a chip from your back and give him any kind of lane, Josh Allen's going to run the football.
Josh Allen's sack rate on the season is 2.9%, which means if he's under pressure, he's running the ball somewhere, so not behind the line.
I'm going to say this. As far as betting this game, I'm going to fill that teaser with the Eagles minus at even, and I'm going to take the Bills plus 7.5. Do I think the Chiefs win? Yes. Do I think they cover that? No. Because guess what? Look at the numbers over the past 7-8 weeks. They don't blow anybody out. They just don't.
How much of that is you're taking the Chiefs because they're going to get the homer calls and the non-calls?
Hey, anyway you cap it, you cap it.
Anyway, you cap it, you cap it.
This week it said we don't get any breaks, blah, blah, blah. And of course, the national media comes out and bashes them. But yeah, they've got calls. Yeah, and don't kid yourself, you don't think the NFL wants Mahomes and Kelsey.
Let's not act like that roughing the passer helmet to helmet with those two defensive players.
I'm not arguing on that, bro. But
it's getting gross to the point that I actually have to start listening to the conspiracy theorists.
I'm filling my teaser with the Eagles with the Bills plus 7.5. I'm not betting a money line bet, but I will bet Josh Allen over 40.5 yards rushing.
I will take the Bills money line. The Bills all day. I think it's Josh's time. And I think the one that stands in his way is Jaden Daniels. And where if that matchup miraculously occurs, I don't know which side I'll fall on, but Jaden, and this is not just me being, but yes, also me being a bit of a Lions homer, Jaden Daniels showed me something special. I think Jaden's gonna run roughshod on Philly.
I don't see that, but that's why everybody can bet whatever they want. So you know what we're playing in these two games. We can't. I'm taking it back now, guys. You got my prop bets. You got Dave's bets. I want to touch a bit so we can wrap up the college football season, the NCAA championship Monday night. I know I was big. If you watched the show last week, I was big on Ohio State. Up 31-7, I didn't see it coming. Right into Notre Dame for fighting. And thank God for Chip Kelly to have the balls to throw a 55-yard bomb on 3rd and 11 to get down inside the 10, and then they kick a field goal, cover the number. Thank you, Chip. But yeah, you know, I thought Ohio State had started their dominance in the second quarter. Notre Dame showed heart in the late third, early fourth, coming back. Your thoughts on the game, Tim?
Ohio State did exactly what Ohio State needed to do. Notre Dame showed me a lot early on, and it just fell apart at the end. My biggest question for you is this an actual national champion? Do you feel this is an actual national champion? And I do not mean, I'm not throwing shade at Notre Dame nor Ohio State. The way I'm going to phrase this is last year when Michigan did it, they went through the gauntlet, they went undefeated, they went through the 4-team playoff, and they felt like a truly decided national champion. With this 12-team scenario, Ohio State and Notre Dame had different roads.
They did.
And that's where I'm asking, is this the succinct way to crown a champion, a 7 and an 8 seed?
To that, I'll say, do I think this 12-team playoff needs tweaking? Absolutely.
1,000,000,000%.
Everybody knows it does. There's no defending it.
Is 12 too many?
No, and I don't want to see it go to 16. Because I don't think Alabama, Miami, South Carolina would have done, or Ole Miss would have done any better there.
But I'd rather see it go to 8.
I'm okay with 12. But here's what I'm going to say about this. So last year, and I know you're a Michigan guy, but they basically beat. Man, and I really just kind of off the radar Washington team wasn't outstanding, wasn't bad. They had Penix, they had Sadunzier, but
again.
But Washington, Ohio State, after losing to Michigan, rallied the troops. They beat at home a really good defensive Tennessee team. I mean, they put the whoop on them, 42-17. Then they got to go to the Rose Bowl and play number 1 Oregon, whoop the shit out of them. Then they're going to go and play a road game at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas against Texas. Doubled them up, you know, and now you got Ohio State.
I'm not.
And you got Notre Dame. And I thought they did a pretty damn good job.
Yeah, but I'm not talking Notre Dame's road. Look at Penn State's road. You played Indiana. You played.
Yes. SMU.
Indiana.
Yeah, I know.
Like, I don't know. I don't know if Ohio State deserves everything they did.
Yes.
Because it was the toughest road, or it was the toughest road for Oregon, or the toughest road for Texas, however you want to point it out.
12-team playoff, they hit the toughest road.
But the other roads were like, wow.
Yeah.
But
then again,
surprise.
Tweaking the system and making it more competitive. I wouldn't be opposed. It's okay. You're going to have your 1, 2, 3, and 4, which I do. Your major conferences all get a bye. I don't want to see Arizona State or Boise or SMU or any of those teams with a bye.
I loved Arizona State this year because they put the nuts to Texas.
They did. They should have won the game.
They showed every reason.
We're not going to get into that.
6 one, half dozen the other.
I wouldn't be opposed to seeing the first 4 get a bye. And when we go to the second round, then those games are played on campus as well. Instead of going to the Rose Bowl and the Sugar Bowl and the Orange Bowl and this and that. I wouldn't be opposed to seeing that go home field. And then the semis go to bowls and the finals in a bowl. But look, they're going to do whatever they want to do. We have no say.
Yeah. No, they got more money than we do.
But to me, Ohio State is, in this group of 12, they ran the gauntlet and they won the championship. I'm not going to take anything away from them. And trust me, anybody knows me knows I hate Ohio State and I hate Notre Dame. Only 3 teams I hate more than Ohio State, Notre Dame, and Penn State. Probably Alabama and Florida State, because I am a Gator fan. And I'm born and raised a Big Panther fan. So I hate Penn State, I hate Notre Dame. But my money was riding on Notre Dame, or on Ohio State, so we did well. Last question, back to the NFL day. Coaching changes. We'll wrap it up here. Your Lions lost a lot, but not about losing them. Aaron Glenn to the Jets, is that a good fit?
Former Jet, go get your bag of money.
So you like the hire?
For the Jets or for Aaron Glenn?
For the Jets.
No, because I don't think the Jets can get out of their own way.
I don't think this is any better than the Jets hiring Todd Bowles. I really don't.
No, or Robert Saleh, or you could have done just as good with Rex Ryan coming off of the ESPN deck.
Now they're saying Saleh is a big candidate in Jacksonville. Why? Can we find fresh blood to coach in the NFL? Why do we keep having to bring in the Mike McCarthy's and the Rex Ryan, the blah, 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 all these?
There's a difference between a head coach and, next up, Ben Johnson going to Chicago. Ben, I love you. Thank you for everything you brought to that Detroit offense.
I would have stayed for 1 more year.
But now it's HC. Now you don't get to play bag of tricks and all the fun. Yeah, your paycheck's bigger, but now it's all the responsibility.
I get the financial security. This is generational wealth for him and his family.
$1,000,000,000. Go get it.
But I might have waited another year because the Bears job is not the one I was taking.
I thought I pounded the rock for him to go to the Raiders.
I think that would have been a fun fit.
You get to go talk to Tom, and Tom gets to talk to you. So it's like, look at my bag of tricks. And Tom's like,
well, how about you do this?
How about we just dial it back a little bit? I thought that would have, and Tom could keep Davis off him. He has nothing to keep anybody off of him in Chicago.
I know.
I think that hurts him.
That's a messed up organization. We all know that. But how about Vrabel back to the Patriots with Josh McDaniels, offensive coordinator?
Absolutely love it. I absolutely love it.
So
I know that DeMeco Ryans, there was a clause in his contract that once Bill left, you're the head coach, and then they just went and customarily fired him. Gerard Mayo. But yeah, Vrabel, he's a Patriots man, Patriots way.
Yeah.
He's more personable than Bill. I think he'll Dan Campbellize it, if you will, a little bit.
He's a red ass like Campbell, and he'll get players play for him. But can I ask you this question? The world seemed to have fallen in love with Mike Vrabel. And I'm not saying they were wrong by any stretch of the imagination, but having said that, what did he do in Tennessee as head coach to make everybody love him?
Took him to an AFC title game?
Won the AFC championship game, which they got blown out.
With
Ryan Tannehill.
And Derrick Henry.
Correct.
But rallied a shit defense in a shit division.
It was an okay defense with guys like Clayton Bishop, and they had talent on there, not great talent, but there was some.
I think
as long as Robert Kraft gives him a 3 to 4 year window, because this team needs so much in the draft, free agency.
If you're talking, is he the strategist? Is he the one to bring the Patriots back? Yes, it's going to take time because it is a full rebuild mode. Full. full.
They need so much in skill positions, wide receivers, running backs. Oh, and the offensive line is effing atrocious, guys. It's bad. And I don't think there's a Patriots fan out there that wouldn't admit that. But I hope they give him the right chance. You can't. It's not just Gerard Mayo 1 year. Sorry, you're out.
Your buddy John saying Gruden's getting a job soon.
Not this year, John.
He says soon, but where? Where? If not this year, next year,
it's not
where?
The Raiders. I wouldn't mind to see him come back to the Bucs if we got rid of Todd Bowles. But I think that happens next year.
I'll take him at the OC with Dan Campbell if he wants to come. If he wants to come be Chucky under Dan Campbell.
Can those two personalities coexist? And does Gruden want to be an OC? That's a big one.
He's got to cut his teeth after he got fired. At least for just a screw around time.
Here's an interesting one, and we'll end it at this. I don't know if you noticed. Notre Dame's defensive coordinator, the ex-Temple coach, Miami coach Al Golden, left Notre Dame to go become the DC of the Bengals. He was rumored to be going back to Miami to become a defensive coordinator under Cristobal. Good luck with the Bengals is all I can say, Al Golden. Because that might as well be the Temple defense you're getting. But we'll see. Any other thoughts on the championship week ahead?
Nah, I think I got it.
We're running it down, guys.
HTTR. Hail to the Redskins.
Oh, no. If you start singing that fight song, Zach, who's our video editor, cut his mic, would you?
I can cut it myself.
All right, guys, that's the show. Florida Gambling Boys on YouTube. It's our football frenzy show. We will not be with you next week because we're not doing a show to cover the Pro Bowl games. Unless you really want to.
I think Derek Carr is going to go off like he did last year. Take your overs on Derek Carr. Wearing an NFL logo.
2 weeks on the 5th of February, we'll be back for a Super Bowl preview. And then the next day, February 6th, Florida Gambling Boys on a plane. We're out to Reno. We're going to be at the Silver Legacy. We'll be live from the Peppermill. We're going to do our first IRL stream, gambling in the casino. Very exciting as we take more steps to grow on our channel. And guys, we couldn't do it without you. Thanks to everybody who subscribes. If you're watching and you haven't, hit the subscribe button, like, a bell for notifications. We'll keep bringing the content even after football season. We're going to do some shows here and there for big events. And we really thank you for watching and helping us grow. For the man, Super Dave Kreitz.
As always, he does exist.
I am the magnificent one, Sean Mayoff. We'll see you in 2 weeks, February 5th, Super Bowl preview show. We'll recap the conference championship games, and we're going to give you guys tips to make money on the Super Bowl. Guys, have a great night. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in 2 weeks.